We are back in the place to be here at LakePoint Sports Baseball Village, where some of the best high school matchups in the Peach State all season long are taking place right here this weekend. Yes, the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament is back for its second weekend of action with MLB draft prospects, Division I commits, and some of the nation's best underclassmen all in action. We've got a featured matchup for you coming up shortly this afternoon between Pope, the number 5 team, and Prep Baseball, Georgia's Power 25, and 18th ranked Carrollton. It's two teams headlined by a couple of Power 5 signees in Pope's Florida State-bound John Stuetzer and Carrollton's Texas signee Maddox Monsour. This figures to be a good one, and the game is just part of it because here at LakePoint Sports, we effort to provide families, coaches, and players with best-in-class experiences, and that includes player performance data that is redefining evaluation and recruiting. Curve Test Center gives athletes an unprecedented look at how they measure up through its ball, body, and brain approach to testing. Let's take a look inside the center, the first of the and very many to come for Curve Test Centers.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them. The effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good. The poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with a small sample size is what we're looking for.
Curve Test Centers is offering free performance tests this weekend here at LakePoint Sports, so test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble here on campus or sign up at curvetestcenters.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. Now, the first weekend the Georgia Dugout Club delivered, and among those pitchers taking the mound during that action was Georgia's top uncommitted left-hander in the class of 2026, Sequoia's Diego Becerra. I caught up with Becerra ahead of his start. That's Diego Becerra, the top-ranked left-handed pitcher that's still uncommitted in the state of Georgia. Diego, man, appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
You, last summer, one of my absolute favorite arms. You got that fastball into the 90s, that wicked curveball. But what do you think of your stuff? What do you feel like working real well, and what was kind of the focus for you going into the junior year?
My focus just have better command, better mentality. I haven't had the best mentality, and I've just been working on that. That's what I worked this offseason, just work on my mentality, what I can do better, which is better command. Been working on that curveball, which has gotten better. Yeah.
Got to be a part of Canes National this past summer. I mean, just a bunch of dudes. And then obviously you were part of the Georgia Feature Games team. What did you learn about yourself during those experiences? Because you're obviously getting tested every time out with Canes National. And then you go to Feature Games and it's like, I mean, there's just a lot of really high-level competition you got to deal with.
Yes, sir. I mean, I played with the best of the best the whole summer. Obviously, I got to believe I'm the best out there, but I learned from a lot of them. There's great pitchers on that Canes staff, and all of them taught me a lot of stuff. And Future Games, that was a great time. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot this summer from other pitchers, which I'm going to use that this season.
A lot of guys will look at Feature Games and it's almost like you seeing, yep, my stuff does play at a really high level. I can go up against guys. Is that kind of what you took from it, or what did you go into it with expectation-wise, and what did you leave with?
Well, I went into it, I was just trying to dominate. And then obviously, things happen, but what I got out of it from was just I got to have a better mentality, because I didn't go into it with a great mentality, which is I didn't get the best outcome. So yeah, just leaving out of it, I just had to work on my mentality and just my confidence, just staying humble on the outside, but being really confident on the inside.
Seeing you suiting up for Sequoia now, you were obviously at Cambridge a year ago. What's that transition like when you've already established yourself as a pitcher, but then you're going someplace else and you got to kind of find your way through that?
Yes, sir. I mean, to be honest, it's been great. I love this team. These guys, they're all great. They received me it feels like I've been here the whole time. It's been a fun time, and I'm glad. I mean, we have a great team. And we got great coaches too. Obviously, I miss the guys at Cambridge, but I'm excited for the next 2 years here. And I mean, I'll contribute with the bat as well.
I mentioned the top uncommitted left-hander in the state of Georgia. Since August 1st, what's that recruitment process been like for you? And then what ultimately are you looking for that checklist for that school that ends up getting your commitment?
Well, at the beginning of when it all started, I talked to a few good schools, and then later as weeks, months went by, I just started to focus on myself, and I was like, I didn't prove myself to anybody this past summer, so I'm gonna work on myself, work on everything I can. So then this upcoming summer, I'm like shocking people, I just want to go somewhere where they believe in me, just somewhere that feels home. I don't have a dream school myself, but I want to go on I want to go to a school where it feels like that was my dream school,
I love it, man. I love the mentality, love the approach. I love to see it in motion, too. So let's get that ball in your hand and have you take us to your grip. Sound good?
Sound good. So this is my four-seam fastball. I just try and get on the top of it and not around it, because that's when I pull myself, my whole body pulls. But I'm just trying to work on getting on top of it. And my changeup, I'm just letting it, the grip do the work. When I try and do too much, it ends up being high or low. But whenever I just let the grip work, it goes where I want it to go. And then with my curveball, just same thing. Let the grip do its thing, and just try and throw as a fastball. But then here just get on top of it, and yeah, that's my pitches.
Diego, man, great stuff. I appreciate you doing that.
Sure.
Best of luck this season. If you're not already, make sure you follow LakePoint Sports on all our social media channels. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You get so much more happening here on campus. Still a few minutes from first pitch here in our matchup between Pope and Carrollton. Let's go ahead and run through the lineups as we're waiting for the teams to take the field. Pope Greyhound's going to be led off by shortstop John Stuetzer, then it's third baseman Luke Winbush, Tanner Morneau playing center field, hitting third, hitting fourth, catcher Drew Abney and Matt Stridham, the DH, hitting fifth. Ben Hill will hit sixth and play left field, hitting seventh and playing second base is Jensen Morneau. Matt Levinson, the first baseman, hitting eighth, hitting ninth is Maddox, Cory, the right fielder, and Nick Bobrowski, the left-hander, will be on the mound. Carrollton Trojans will be led off by center fielder Maddox Monsour, then it's third baseman Landon Eubanks, DH Caleb Binion. Evan Moody will be hitting fourth and playing right field, hitting fifth and playing left field. Hayden Downs, Gunnar Foken will be the first baseman, hitting sixth, hitting seventh. Second baseman Caleb Hudson, hitting eighth. Shortstop Dylan Bishop. Lane Bell will be on behind the plate and hitting ninth, and on the mound will be right-hander Caden Opperman. We'll be rejoining you shortly as we await the teams to take the field as we get ready for this matchup here from the Georgia Dugout Club between Pope Greyhounds and Carrollton Trojans. Welcome in. We've got action for you again. Carrollton against Pope. Here, a really highly anticipated matchup. I don't think Grayson Rosen joining me in studio now. Grayson, there are a few matchups across the state this weekend. I think they're going to be. We've got a few of them this weekend, but in terms of star power and teams that can absolutely bring it, I think Carrollton and Pope, this is about as good as it gets across the Peach State this weekend.
Yeah, and a huge part of that is how this game's going to start, especially for Carrollton at the top of the lineup. Maddox Monsour taking the plate right now and he's the leadoff and certainly the big name in this lineup for Carrollton that kind of leads the way. And then on the other side for Pope, you're led by John Stuetzer, but he's followed up by a fantastic, rest of this lineup that it's just unbelievable. And I think having both those guys leading off for these teams is going to be a huge spark of energy early in this game.
Monsour at the plate now will be followed by Landon Eubanks and Caleb Binion. Nick Bobrowski on the mound for Pope. You'll notice each time Maddox Monsour steps in, he looks at his bat. He's got an inscription written there. It says, "I'm him," which is about as cool as it. Talk about swag. He's absolutely bringing it.
Definitely.
The Texas signee, the third-ranked outfielder in the state of Georgia, caught up with him, as I mentioned, for a while pregame. You'll be able to find that interview later this week across all the LakePoint Sports social channels without taking people too far into the weeds. Tried to set something up with Maddox last year. We just didn't make it work out in terms of scheduling, but excited to have gotten him this weekend. And, his last weekend of games that he'll ever play here at LakePoint Sports, which I think is, talked to some of the guys last weekend, Terrence Bowen in particular, about this. That's a weird thing for them to kind of compartmentalize and come to grips with when their baseball careers have taken them to these fields so many times. For these seniors, this is it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that, to give these guys the opportunity to be up here so long, and then obviously at some point that just has to come to an end, and you just hope that, there's obviously greener pastures on the other end.
Well, they certainly are for Maddox Monsour on his way to Texas. He committed to Texas way back in 2022. What interesting as he watches this one, releases that back foul. Interesting point that he and I discussed is, and I heard this from another SEC signee while we were at Super 60, a guy who committed really early in his high school career, and he said he saw that commitment is kind of a contract between him and the school that you ultimately want to allow yourself to become the player they project you to be. And Maddox said that was a kind of, for him, it was going out and kind of shouldering that each time. That he was a Texas signee. He was Texas each time he took the field. As he draws himself a leadoff walk there, and he kind of revels in the pressure. And I think for some guys, if you're going to commit early and you're going to commit to what's now a Power 4 school, you kind of have to be able to have that, because for every other player, each time you step out there, you get that label, and they're going to be expecting to test themselves against you.
Yeah, now Landon Eubanks is coming to the plate, the left-handed hitter over here. He's a Bruton Parker commit. The only other committed player other than Monsour in this whole roster for Carrollton, which is really interesting. This team graduated a ton of great talent, and they have a lot of 2026s and 2027s. They're going to play a big role. I mean, we already see, I think they've got 4 or 5 2027s starting in this lineup, and for such a team that's such a powerhouse pretty much every year, it's kind of surprising to see such a young team, but it's just kind of how things go.
Get on the mound for Pope Greyhounds, we've got Nick Bobrowski. A little intel on Nick here, class of 2026, 5'8", 155-pounder. We've got him with a fastball up around 80. Also has a curveball that sits around 62 to 65, a changeup 69 to 73. Currently uncommitted. But there are big expectations for Pope. They finished runner-up last year to Etowah, and I know they are expecting big things out of this crew, and they come in ranked 5th by the Prep Baseball Georgia guys in their Power 25.
Yeah, definitely high expectations for Pope. Last year playing in 6A, making it to that state championship game and ultimately falling to Etowah. I think there's obviously huge expectations for Pope, but it's just another school that, they're constantly graduating great players, and you still have such a great group left behind. You see John Stuetzer there at shortstop on the right side of your screen, and he's just kind of the beginning of it.
Bunt down, and Monsour takes off for second base, so they will advance the runner. You see some speed from Monsour on the base pass. Told me he's got down to 6.32 on the 60, so this guy can absolutely fly. He's just kind of, little by little, just kind of taken that number down from 6'5" early in his high school career down to the point where we're talking about this being one of the fastest players in the state. So he is absolutely must-watch, and loves to cause havoc on the base pass. We'll see what he has in store here as he now sits at second base.
And Pope Greyhounds right now coming at number 2 in the 5A ranking. So with this kind of reclassification for a lot of teams end up moving down a class with 7A going away. And
yeah, there's Monsour right there, and he will easily take third base as he was set up there by John Stuetzer at shortstop, and then coast past him and finds himself now standing at third.
Pretty good throw down there by Drew Abney behind the plate for Pope, but not quite in time with that speed we just talked about with Monsour. But yeah, Pope, one of those teams that moved down a class, down to 5A, and right now Prep Baseball's got them ranked behind Houston County as the number 2 team, and they've started off 2-0 to this point. So big start for Pope that they're looking for, and then Carrollton number 5 right now in the 6A rankings. They're 2-0 to start the season as well.
Tanner Morneau at the plate, a North Georgia signee, Pro Stock Baseball Club, where he plays his travel ball, 20th ranked outfielder in Georgia, number 73 overall.
This is Caleb Binion at the plate for
Oh,
Carrollton.
I'm sorry, jumping squads there. I'm getting myself a little bit too excited about when Pope's going to be up at the plate. But yeah, Caleb Binion for Carrollton now, currently at the plate, as you mentioned. Caleb plays for Clutster this summer, 17th ranked outfielder in Georgia, 26, number 71 overall. We got him at exit velos north of 104 miles an hour, bat speed 80.9. This guy connects, could be all kinds of trouble, and we could easily see Monsour crossing home plate for that first run.
Yeah, Caleb's put up some very impressive numbers already. Excited to see what we can see from him here. For the people at home, I know you can't see the count nor the outs, but we do have 1 out and now 2 outs as he goes down on strikes.
Yeah, hopefully that scoreboard does catch up. Typically that's gives us our readout in terms of exit velo, pitch speed, all that fun stuff. So we certainly want to be able to bring that along for you as this game's wearing on. Hopefully we just able to get through that. Maybe a little bit of a technical difficulties up in the scout tower. Evan Moody now at the plate for Carrollton. Moody plays for USA Scouts, so he's a guy who is used to spending time on these fields here. USA Scouts practices here multiple times a week. He's the 25th ranked outfielder in Georgia and 26th, number 105 overall, as he watches that in for a strike out of the hands of Brobowski. Bobrowski plays for 6'4" DP. Miss inside. You'd be interested to watch the progress of these Pope pitchers. I think that was the difference last year, watching Pope and Etowah in the state championship game, was the pitching, and I think that's ultimately what held Pope back in that matchup. So I think how their pitching progresses over this year are going to really determine how far this team's able to go in the Georgia State playoffs.
Yeah, that was a beautiful breaking ball right there by Bobrowski there on the mound, and I think, you know, him and a number of other guys in this roster just really have to step up. I think that's what Pope's really going to be looking for. Obviously, the big names are more position players and going to be DHing, but we really need that contribution from the pitching staff.
Bobrowski just misses outside there. Puts that one in play. Pitcher has it. It's going to run over to first and flip it over. They will strand Monsour. We're through a half an inning here. You are watching the Georgia Dugout Club tournament from LakePoint Sports.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports as we're bringing you our inside the game action here, the Georgia Dugout Club tournament, Carrollton Trojans and Pope Greyhounds. Caden Opperman going through his warm-up pitches for Carrollton. He'll be facing off against John Stuetzer, Luke Winbush, and Tanner Morneau for Pope Greyhounds. I don't know, Grayson, that we're going to see a better matchup of leadoff hitters maybe the entire 2025 calendar year here at LakePoint Sports. And you think about Stuetzer on his way to Florida State and Maddox Monsour, who we've already seen, who's a Texas signee.
Yeah, it's you're going to be hard-pressed to find something better. And I think the best thing about those two is just the electricity they bring at the top of the lineup. They're true one-hole hitters. And I'm sorry, somebody just slammed on our side door here. But those true one-hole hitters that just bring that electricity that you need at the start of the lineup and at the start of a game in particular.
Well, Stuetzer is going to try to get things started off for Pope Greyhounds. Stuetzer was at Super 60 earlier this month. A real opportunity to see him against, along with some of the best players in the nation. I mean, this guy is absolutely special. Top-ranked shortstop in Georgia in 25, number 4 overall in the class. He's 18th at his position nationally, number 51 overall. We've got him with exit velos around 100.5, bat speed north of 80. Runs a 6.5 60. Oh, and he was ended his high school football career with 197 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns on way to being co-player of the year for his region.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an unbelievable athlete all around. And you mentioned the efforts he had at Super 60, just putting on a show. I mean, obviously the sights are set. He's headed to Florida State, but might just forego that opportunity if he gets the call.
It's in for a strike out of the hands of Opperman. Interesting note, I saw him say that he's just as good at lake sports as he is at baseball.
Interesting. Might have to maybe get him out to Terminus one of these days.
Yeah, that's right. Not a lot of opportunities at Florida State, though, to go hit the high seas.
No.
Swing and a miss.
Actually, it looks like maybe they called that one foul.
Okay. Big breaking ball, though, out of the hands of Opperman.
Looked really good. Looked like he maybe got the swing and miss, but maybe Stuetzer just grabbed a piece of it.
Opperman on the mound, up to 85 on the fastball. He's the 35th ranked right-handed pitcher in Georgia in 26, 202 overall. Stuetzer does put that one in play into the hands of the shortstop. Yeah, and his speed is going to play its way into an infield single. Yeah, no chance when he's coasting down the line like that. Made a nice stop there near the edge of the grass and just no opportunity to try to gun Stuetzer out as he just was booking down the first baseline, and that'll now bring up Luke Winbush.
And there you go. Both of our leadoff hitters we've been speaking so highly of both reach base in their first at-bats, and we'll see if Stutzer's able to come around to score. And now you got Luke Winbush, who's a very promising young player for this squad. I mean, you know, you've had just a number of, like we talked about, a number of guys that have come through the Pope, kind of just dynasty at this point and continue to play well and then move on to the next level. And now Winbush, one of those guys you're kind of hoping to see take that step just like Stuetzer has and just like other guys in the past.
Yeah, man, Stuetzer taking off, and he is flying down the line. Swipe back tag from the second baseman is not in time as Stutzer's going to be standing at second with the stolen base.
That was a real close one there. Stuetzer lucky to get back on the base in time and avoid the tag there from Caleb Hudson.
I think you can call it a Pope pipeline. When you think about it. And a lot of it's been at Florida State. I mean,
yes.
Think about
Tibbs.
Yeah, Tibbs was able to come through there as well, and now they're going to have Stuetzer suiting up for the Seminoles if he ends up eluding the MLB draft.
Yeah, as a Florida State fan myself, I don't mind what Pope High School's got going on.
Steve Stutzer's going to hold at second base. Nice, healthy lead for him. Winbush at the plate, as you mentioned. He's the second-ranked third baseman in Georgia in 2027, number 25 overall. He's a preseason All-State. 5'10", 153-pounder, plays for Pro Stock during the summer.
See what Opperman here has to offer.
Glances back at Stuetzer, fires, misses outside.
I think when you've got a guy, we saw both Stuetzer and Monsour just wanting to run when they get on the base pass. It's almost like you're fast. You're probably one of, if not the fastest guys on the field. How enticing is it to just steal the base every time?
Yep. Yeah, and I think when you put a guy like that in that leadoff position, I mean, that's their job, right? That's what they feel like, a responsibility to get on the base paths and cause havoc.
Yeah, and Winbush takes the walk there. So the first two batters reach, and now you set up Tanner Morneau, who got a little early and tried to talk about.
Yeah, I was excited about seeing Tanner Morneau, the North Georgia signee, and now he does step to the plate. The 5'10", 165-pound righty, 20th ranked outfielder in Georgia, and 25-73 overall. Bit of a delay on field here. This is just part of another big weekend of coverage for us here in the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. We'll have a watch party for you tomorrow, so we'll be bringing you 3 games at once. Expecting Reeston Durham, another Texas commit, is going to be joining me out of Tequila, so excited to have Reeston stop by. Made some serious noise this past summer as a member of the Georgia Future Games teams, and ended up getting himself a commitment to Texas in September. Comes the bunt, Morneau shows back, and did that hit him?
I think it bounced off the plate in front of him, but it did look like he pulled back the bunt in time, so it'll be a ball and both runners advance. That's a huge opportunity right there for Pope. I mean, showing that bunt, I think he got the catcher a little bit distracted there, and you certainly are going to capitalize off that now. Yeah, great work by Pope to just kind of come up and immediately strike here in the first inning. I think you get those early runs. It's a huge factor, but at the same time, you know, if you're Carrollton, you still got a chance. You're not going to live and die by 1 run in the top of the first, but certainly want to start making outs here now with a runner at third base and just 1 out.
Catcher Drew Abney now at the plate.
Yeah, Abney's got some impressive numbers, 99.6 exit velo on his prep baseball profile, and 48th ranked player in the state of Georgia for the class of 2026, the 4th ranked catcher.
Yeah, pop time's down to 189 with a catcher velo of 76. Plays for the Georgia Jackets, so again, another guy who spends a lot of time here at LakePoint Sports during the summer. Abney jumps on this one, sends it into center field. Let's see if this is another replay of what we just saw. Yep, runner taken off for third. The throw is going to be cut off by the pitcher. Not going to be able to get it home in time, and Pope's now got a 2-0 lead.
This is fantastic work. I mean, you start off, Stuetzer gets the infield single on a tough ball to play it short. Shows off the speed, advances to second. Then Winbush gets the walk. The 2 of them advance on a passed ball, and then you just see 2 straight sac flies to score the first 2 runs in the game. And in the early goings up to bottom of the first, it's a fantastic way to start for the Greyhounds.
Berry College signee Matt Stridham now at the plate.
He makes good contact there out to opposite field. That one drops down. Doesn't quite make the gap, but he gets himself a single here to continue the bottom of the first for Pope.
Yeah, line just keeps moving for Pope, now up 2-0.
It's going to bring Ben Hill to the plate. Looks like we'll have a meeting with the catcher and pitcher real quick just to maybe calm the nerves here early on.
There's a certain music that I hear when I hear the name Ben Hill. Benny Hill's probably a little
before my time.
Yeah, well before your time. Yeah, British TV show, there was a certain song that would play and he would run all over the place. And so anybody out there who's nearby Google, you're unfamiliar with Benny Hill, dial that up. And it looks like our scoreboard is working now.
Or at least they're trying.
I see data populating, so yeah, maybe they see the future.
Could be.
Throw back over to first.
He's safe, so maybe they're further in the future than we thought.
2-0 is the lead for Pope here in the bottom of the first. And we got Ben Hill at the plate.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Hill gets that past the third baseman. Stridham's taking off for third. Is he going to hold there? He's getting the windmill all the way home. Ben Hill coming through with an RBI double, and Pope now leads 3-0 here in the bottom of the first inning.
That's absolutely huge right there, and Stridham just flying around the base paths. Not necessarily a speed guy, but showed it off there, and a fantastic hit by Ben Hill to get that one down the line past the third baseman.
Yeah, Ben Hill, it should be noted, is ranked as a left-handed pitcher in Georgia in 2026, but he is showing out at the plate there where he's produced exit velos of 94 with a bat speed of 73.3. Now he's got himself an RBI double to extend Pope's lead.
Yeah, and that's huge 2-out hitting right there. And that's one of those things that is a difference maker as you go throughout these games. If you're going to hit like that with 2 outs, especially in the early goings here, you might just see the Pope Greyhounds continue to roll like they are right now.
Jensen Morneau, the 2027 at the plate, 6th-ranked catcher in Georgia. That's in for a strike out of the hands of Opperman. I did ask the Pope guys, because so many of them were in shiesties, if they had team shiesties. And they said, man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love the team-issued Pope Greyhounds.
Yeah, with the Greyhound all the way across it. I think somebody's got to make that happen. We could get a screen print section going here at LakePoint Sports where we can make those. Jensen Morneau puts that in play. Shortstop gathers, throws, pull down from the first baseman. They're able to get out of it. But Pope's got a 3-0 lead. We are through 1 inning of play. Grayson, you're going to join us a little bit later. We'll be back with more from LakePoint Sports.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete and all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
To LakePoint Sports, Cory McCartney now joined by Avery Hunt. For Carrollton, we'll have Hayden Downs, Gunnar Foken, and Caleb Hudson at the plate here on the top of the second, where Pope is leading 3-0. We'll get our scoreboards hopefully updated here shortly to reflect that. First pitch from Bobrowski misses inside. I was just mentioning to Grayson Rosen before he took off that the Pope guys all had on shiesties, and I asked them if there were team-issued shiesties, and they said that would be awesome. So as a guy who has some pull in the prep baseball world, I think if you want to get those, maybe we can get some screen prints going over there at the pro shop, at the team shop, the clubhouse store here at the Baseball Village, and we can start putting team logos on those things and make some real cash.
There you go. Get the PBR logo.
I love it,
right
yeah.
here.
I mean, we could do all, you could make like the Darth Vader thing on the front of it. We could do all kinds of stuff.
That would be awesome.
That's one thing, like you see, everybody has kind of their own personal. That's the one item I haven't seen a lot of personalization with, is we get a big swing and a miss. Nobody's really doing that to those face coverings, but we got to make that happen. Get the whole, like, we could do like all kinds of character masks and have some. Excuse me. Oh, there comes the cough again. Only when you're here. Well, we could get some rights restrictions letters to us as we put Spider-Man and all kinds of stuff on there.
That would be a good look. I know everything else in the baseball world with the leg guards and the
Yep.
sliding mitts and the batting gloves are going more and more bright and different colors, and everybody's thinking outside the box with those. Might as well get it on the
That's right.
shiesties too.
I love it. All right, scoreboard is operating now. Count is 3-2. Still waiting on that reflection of that 3-0 lead for Pope there as we sit in the second inning. We were talking about the leadoff hitters in this game, John Stuetzer and Maddox Monsour. I don't know that across the state you're going to find a better matchup of leadoff hitters, one going to Florida State, one going to Texas, than we're getting in this game.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, leadoff punch for both of these teams. So, yeah, it'd be tough to find two better leadoff guys to face off against one another.
Hayden Downs, as mentioned, at the plate right now for Carrollton. Plays for USA Scouts, so another guy who spends a lot of practice time here at the Baseball Village. 6th-ranked outfielder in Georgia in 27, 26th overall. Skies that one. First baseman camps underneath it. Shiesty shimmering in the sun as he hauls that in for an out. Whoever makes those, we gotta get we got to get them on as a sponsor at least this part of the year.
Especially early in the year and those last 2 or 3 events of the fall.
That's right.
You get a lot of those out.
I mean, you got to have timing with the sponsorships, right? If we do it in the middle of August, it's not going to make any sense. But we get it in November, we get it in February, even part of March. It's gonna be a top dollar item for us. All right, we go from Hayden down to Skies out. Now here's Gunnar Foken.
This weekend needs to be sponsored by Hot Hands. I'm sure there's a lot of those going around.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I know this sounds ridiculous, but was looking this morning to see if GHSA has any kind of is there a temperature in which they don't let people play baseball? I mean, I know if it can get too hot to play football, but on the flip side of that, can it get too cold in order for guys to play baseball?
I don't know the answer. I know that I've played baseball in some really, really, really cold weather, and nobody seemed to care a whole lot.
Yeah.
So.
It gets down to the teens, though, and somebody gets plunked with a
that would feel
80-plus mile-an-hour fastball in the back. It's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, it'll be nice and leave you a good mark.
Foken at the plate, plays for Kane Southeast Sox. He's a 8th-ranked catcher in Georgia, 66th overall. Playing first base today for the Trojans. Yeah, we always end up talking a lot about the weather on these broadcasts, but it was awfully nice last weekend, on Friday anyway, and then it got cold on Saturday. And goes down on strikes as Bobrowski able to get on the outside corner. Now 2 down, and here comes Caleb Hudson. Caleb Hudson plays for Canes National, 2027, 2nd-ranked outfielder in Georgia in 27, 10th overall, 34th at his position, nationally 142 in that class. 2023 and 2022 junior feature gamer. I'd anticipate he's got a really strong chance of being here come the first weekend in, is it first weekend in August this year or the last weekend in July for feature games? I don't know.
Last weekend in July.
Okay, last weekend in July. See, I'm putting you on the spot. But I think Caleb Hudson got a really strong chance to be part of Team Georgia as we start looking towards those rosters.
Absolutely. A great kid to be around just in the dugout. Always has a really good attitude, just kind of being a part of that JFG. Those teams, when he was here, just plays hard. Just a really good kid to be around.
60 time is 6.53. So just like Monsour, he can scoot. That's in for a strike.
I'm not sure that I could run a 40 in 6.53 right now. So it
was a 1-2. Oh, gets him in the outside corner. Bobrowski gets a couple strikeouts to get himself out of that inning. We're through 1.5. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Where's it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage. And keep it juicy.
Boogie, woogie, jam, slam, bust the dialect from the man in command. Come, flow with the sounds of the mighty Mike.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Avery Hunt with you. Caden Opperman, back on the mound for Carrollton Trojans. Pope up 3-0 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. See where we're at in the lineup for Pope. The scoreboard says Winbush, but this is not Winbush. Okay, this is, I believe, number 6. Who is this up the plate now? I believe we had Ben Hill was up as the last batter. This is Matt Levinson. Apologies there. Levinson skies that one back foul. Makes for a good broadcast when you're trying to figure stuff out on the fly.
They don't report any substitutions or changes to the broadcast booth here,
That's
unfortunately.
right, yeah. So we're going to go from Matt Levinson to Maddox, Cory, and then we're back to the top of the order and Stuetzer. That's in for a strike. 0-2 count here to Levinson. Young Harris signee, plays for 6'4", 3DP, 6 foot, 189-pounder. Puts that one in play. Shortstop has it, throws in time for the first out. So with one down, we'll see Maddox, Cory.
Good breaking ball there to get the first out of the inning. Just a little bit out in front and hit it on the ground to shortstop.
That sun glaring, it looks a lot warmer than it really is.
It does. It does. Like, you see the sun's like, oh, it's a nice day out.
Yeah.
And you go out and like, oh.
Yeah, not so much. Going for a strike. Oh, just misses there. Yeah, this is just start of another big weekend for us. Tomorrow during the watch party at 3 p.m. we'll have Wayne County and Loganville, Franklin County, and get another look at Pope, and then Mountain View and Harrison. Big swing and a miss. Count now 0-2. That Franklin County Pope game, and we talked about Stuetzer and Maddox Monsour tomorrow. We'll have Ty Peoples, the #1 player in Georgia in 2025, going against Stuetzer.
That should be an intriguing matchup. I
Yeah.
passed the Franklin County bus today on the way here, so they're definitely en route. So I'm looking forward to that matchup tomorrow for those guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, we get some real star-studded affairs here during this weekend. And I mean, obviously during the summertime we get a lot of these super teams, but when you have these guys coming through on their high school squads, it makes it seem a little bit more special when you've got them coming through here and we get to kind of match up some of the top players in the class.
Absolutely, especially earlier in the year, with it being the end of, I guess, the middle of February, getting to see these matchups as early as we're getting to see them, it's always a good thing and a great way to start the year here.
Puts that one in place. Shortstop busy. Gathers throws. Will beat him for the second out.
Shortstop getting his work in here to start the bottom of the second. See if
Dylan Bishop over there for Carrollton looking awfully strong at the position.
See if we can't get one more here, make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, there you go. Which should be about right because I'm pretty sure Dylan Bishop hits first going into the third inning. All right, this is Stuetzer, so we're back to the top of the order. Got himself an infield single in his first at bat, a hit to the shortstop that he just had no chance at, gathered it near the edge of the grass, but Stuetzer in that 6'5" speed put on display as he was just booking down the first baseline. No opportunity to try to gather and throw to get him out. 0-1 count to the Florida State signee. That's in for a ball.
Really good take there on a breaking ball just below the zone.
Stuetzer, as I mentioned, in his first AB, co-player of the year for his region in football this year. Oh, rips that one down the left side, and that is going to be hauled in for – somebody caught that down there.
Yeah, I think it was the third baseman.
Yeah, I wanted it to be the shortstop. All right, so we're through another half an inning. Pope leads 3-0. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them. The effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good. The poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
Curve Test Centers is offering free performance tests this weekend here at LakePoint Sports to test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble or sign up now at curvetestcenters.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. Back into our action here as we have a leadoff single for Carrollton. So Dylan Bishop, who we talked about getting all that work at shortstop, I'm hoping that he is the one who got the end play because we didn't see that. And we did not see his leadoff single here to start off this inning. Pope up 3-0. They try to eat into this lead. Cory McCartney joined by Avery Hunt. Lane Bell, now the catcher, steps into the plate. Lane Bell takes off, or his courtesy runner, takes off for second base. That is Landon Bowen taking over for Bell on the base pass. Runner in scoring position. Pope leads 3-0. Set here in the top of the third. It's in for a strike. We're hoping today that our games can easily fit into a 7-inning box because we had a Blessed Trinity game against Walton last weekend that ended up going 9 innings for us to get a winner on that one. And ended up pushing back everything throughout the day.
Yeah, that was a really, I think we talked about it last week. You know, it felt like a playoff game
Yep.
in February.
Miss to Eubanks. Counts now 3-0. Caleb Binion in the on-deck circle for Carrollton. I believe you were passing along some good family news when we were coming in from the break.
I am, yeah. My first cousin's getting his first collegiate start for the University of Georgia here, so on his birthday nonetheless. So the family group
Nice.
chat's blowing up a little bit. So
That's
trying
awesome.
to manage all that going on right here. So
Who is it?
It's Cade Brown. He's
Okay.
a freshman there.
Yep.
Went to Parkview.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the family group chat got word of that about 5 minutes ago, so the phone's been vibrating a good bit.
Oh, nice. Not quite sure what happened with our cameras there. The count is now 3-2 to Eubanks.
Just the internet lagged a little bit, like
Yep.
you're playing video games.
That's right. We still got dial-up around here.
Yeah.
Got AOL.
Got to scream down to the
That's
family
right.
to get off the Wi-Fi.
Yep. Dabrowski throws back, hits the runner.
That feels good in conditions like today.
Yeah. Some athletic maneuver there from Stuetzer to try to apply that tag as the ball got away from him.
44 degrees with some wind always tends to help when a ball hits you square in the back when you're not expecting it.
Here's the 3-2. Swing. Oh, he tied a piece of that.
Shot that one foul at
Yeah.
near the third base dugout. Hopefully everybody had their head on a swivel down there. It's a good thing about here at LakePoint. We have the full chain link dugout. We don't just have the rail. So gives some guys a little bit more protection.
Another payoff pitch. Runner's taken off for third. Drop third, the throw over to first. Going to end the inning. Another stranded for Carrollton. They trail 3-0. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes. Block nobody. Block party. Keep it juicy.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Another inning of work for Caden Opperman for Carrollton. They trail 3-0 against the Pope Greyhounds here. Cory, McCartney, Avery Hunt with you. Throw down, and we will see, I believe Luke Windbush is going to lead things off, the third baseman, followed by Tanner Morneau and Drew Abney for Pope.
Carrollton going with a good look there with the digital camo jerseys here for their first game of the weekend.
I like that. Yeah, Windbush is 0 for 1. (2027) second-ranked third baseman in Georgia class, 25th overall, preseason All-State this year. Opperman sinks that in for a strike. Still just 14 pitches, that last one at 82.1. Windbush puts this in play. Third baseman has it, gathers, throws. Landon Eubanks able to corral that in to get the first out. Each time that happens, you know the movie Pixels?
Yeah.
I think we're going to get, we're getting infiltrated.
They're coming for us.
That's right. All right, Tanner Morneau out at the plate. North Georgia signee steps in, 20th ranked outfielder in the class, 25.
Good take there to get ahead 1-0 early here.
All right, so we always have to have our NBA portion of our broadcast.
Yep.
Mac McClung, where were you at? Were all those dunks 50s?
I think 50s are given out too easily.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on the dunk contest.
I wish I would have had teachers in high school that were as free with their
100%.
grading scales the NBA slam dunk judges are.
I just love that they bring McClung up. He's like, oh, he's an NBA guy, and then he wins the dunk contest. Like, all right, back to the G League.
That one's in for a base hit, so Tanner Morneau gets himself a one-out single. Drew Abney, the catcher, now steps in. Yeah, it's funny that they say he's played 5 NBA games and won 3 slam dunk championships.
That's in the NBA, like telling me that guy doesn't have a spot on
somewhere
on a bottom 8 team.
Makes about $500,000 playing the G League and makes over $100,000 winning a slam dunk competition.
He's good at it. He's very good at the slam dunk competition.
That's right. Maybe they should do like in soccer. They have like the penalty kicks.
Mm-hmm.
They should have like a dunk contest in overtime games. So instead of these guys having to go out, we're worried about load management in the NBA. So instead of having them go out and play extra minutes, let's just go out and have a slam dunk competition in lieu of overtime.
Hey, you get to pick one guy.
You won't. Yeah, you get one guy. I think he would be. He would most certainly have a roster spot then.
Yeah, exactly. Just for the one overtime game.
That's right.
I mean, baseball puts the imaginary runner on second.
Yep.
Hockey goes 3-on-3. Football, it's just sudden death in the NFL.
Yep. Drew Abney watches that in for a strike. 4th-ranked catcher in Jordan, 26, 48th overall. I think we're onto something here. Maybe we can get Rise Hoops to do that, right? Like they could be the trendsetters. So we'll get the guys from Rise Hoops.
Yeah, start it at the bottom.
Yeah, we'll start at the bottom. The grassroots effort here. We'll get slam dunks instead of overtime games. They can set the precedent, and we'll just take it from there.
I mean, like, if you want fans to be interested, I think that's a great way to
Yeah.
be like, oh, LeBron and KD. All right, you guys are about to have a dunk contest.
Yeah, the NBA League Pass alerts, would tell people that get over there now. Runner taken off for second. Shortstop. We'll watch the second baseman gathers. So they get the runner at first, but Pope going to have a guy at second base as they're up 3-0. So Drew Abney is out. Here comes Matt Stridham, who had an RBI double in his first AB. Barry College signee. Showed off the wheels a little bit. That first at bat. See if he can build on this Pope lead, up 3-0. So then in for a strike out of the hands of Opperman.
Really good first pitch breaking ball there.
So what time does the Georgia game start so you can...
It's just started. So
okay, all right. So your attention may be elsewhere.
No, we're good. We're good.
That last pitch, a changeup. It's 73.9 for Opperman. He's thrown 22 pitches so far. And Pope up 3-0 here in the bottom of the third. 2 hits apiece for each team. Dribbler goes back to the padding. Counts now 1-2. 2 down in the inning.
Really like the old American League umpire vest we got, or
Yeah,
jacket we have on behind the plate. It's a good look.
Yep. Very official. Oh, man, gets him looking absolutely frozen, so he goes down on strikes, and Pope strands one, but they lead 3-0. We'll be back for the 4th inning from LakePoint Sports.
Next. Next. Stop.
We got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete and all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere? And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Here at LakePoint Sports, Pope up 3-0 over Carrollton. Ian Smith now joining us for Prep Baseball Georgia in studio. We didn't get you last weekend during the first round of action in the Georgia Dugout Club. You did get the memo, though, as our moms dressed us today for this appearance. We were in the same shirt. But so impressions of last week, and who were you excited about seeing in week 2?
Last week was really good pitching. Started off the rip, obviously, Super 60 participant, All-American Reed Worley came out. It was the first extending outing we got to see from him this year. Went 4, struck out 8, threw the fastball by everybody. The slider was as good as it looked. Jackson Peavy was really good as well. We had some good look at a 28 arm in Easton Holmes. It was my first time getting to see him up to 89 with probably one of the more advanced sliders that I've seen in the freshman class in a long time at 79 and 82 and spinning it really well. And coming into this week, man, the bats, they're they're everywhere. You know, we have Ty Peoples, Josh Gibbs, we have John Stuetzer in this game. We have the kid at bat right here, Caleb Binion, who hit a ball 107 this past fall for us at a showcase. Really has been blowing up recently as an uncommitted 26 and has a chance to have a really big spring here, batting in the 3-hole for them, looking to be the big power guy for this Carrollton lineup here going forward.
Yeah, Binion, 17th ranked outfielder in Georgia in 2026. Watches that in for a ball.
And the big thing with him, like last year, he was it was first base only. There was really no other position, and now he's really developed into an everyday right fielder. Got a huge arm, moves well. The athleticism has really come a long way, and it's a big position. I mean, he's filled a big role for this Carrollton team. That's young coming in this year with but a ton of talent from 1 through 9 in this lineup.
So Binion draws the walk, and here comes Evan Moody, the right fielder.
Big power here with Moody. Guy could also fills it up on the mound, upper 80s as well. Really good two-way profile for this team. Yeah, that's 3 through 7 for them. Binion, Moody, Caleb Hudson, Gunnar Foken, Hayden Downs. Like, these are all 26 and 27 guys that are going to be in this lineup for the next couple of years and all have huge projection remaining on their profile. Like, these aren't guys that are nowhere close to being maxed out. So I think Carrollton's got a bright future.
Moody skies that.
Ooh, tough
Center fielder calls him off.
He's out.
Oh, they doubled him up at first.
Wow, what a throw there.
Yeah, just held long enough, though. You had to kind of wonder if he was going to end up dropping it.
Center, Timor No.
Yeah, that's Tanner Morneau in center field for Pope, so he's able to double him up, and just like that, there's 2 down in the inning here.
I swear, if you get a hit, then you make a play on the field. It happens
That's
often.
right,
It's
all the time.
96 off the bat, then makes a play in center next half, so doing it. One of the better bats in that Pope lineup. Just hits everything.
I spent some time pregame with Maddox Monsour. I know he has a lot of big expectations for this Carrollton crew in his senior year. When you guys were looking at them, and they came in 18th in the preseason Pro Baseball Georgia Power 25, what did you look at in terms of the strength for this team, and maybe what ended up resulting in them being 18th in the state?
I think they have a lineup that should be able to compete with almost anybody in the region and in that whole classification in whole. Like I mentioned earlier, with the 4 through 5 guys, Maddox, Monsour at the top, Texas commit, as much power and speed you're going to find in this 25 class, and having that at the top, and can also play center and can play it short as well for them as well. And then they have 3 returning pitchers. They returned every one of their innings from last year as well for this team. So they were really young on the mound last year. So bringing back these guys like Caden Opperman on the mound today, he was up to 88 with a really good changeup as well. He's been big for them. Another guy in their rotation is Connor Daly. Caleb Hudson, a guy we love at second base today, but should pitch this weekend as well, one of the top 10, 27th in our class. They just have depth, not a ton of 2025 depth, which is why they're not a top 10 team yet. But I think they have the upside and the potential to really grow into one, whether it's this spring or the following.
Monsour, third-ranked outfielder in Georgia, 13th overall in the class, 23rd nationally, 136 overall in the class of 2025. Also a guy who committed to Texas back in 2022. Yeah. So I had this conversation with Hudson Graham last week. When a guy gets away from the showcase environment and you guys are kind of looking at how you're ranking them in the state, how difficult does that process become when they're, not to say that they're off the radar, but they're a little bit out of sight for you
because
guys.
They blow up so early. They make a name for themselves. They stop going to all these showcases. So it just really falls back on seeing these guys a ton in the summer, going out to these tournaments. The high school season, like I mentioned last year, we went as a group last year over 200 games. So seeing him a lot last year, we're not going to see him in a showcase, obviously, like you mentioned. But just seeing him in those high school games, being able to see pitching, obviously you're going to see some up and down pitching during the high school season, whether it's region play or whatnot. But just being about how he handles that and how he presents himself as a player and see if the development continues or if it plateaus.
Yeah, I mean, think about how big a guy like Landon Eubanks hitting behind him is because we go a little bit deeper, especially into region play. They're not going to pitch to Maddox.
No, that's what I'm saying, yeah. And that just goes right back into mentioning that depth in that lineup. If they don't pitch to Maddox, Eubanks was an all-region player last year, hit everything. The bat the ball is really impressive for him. He's one of probably their leading hitter, I think, from last year. I think he hit 375 last spring, I believe, or something close to it. So having him and then two-hole, and then, like I mentioned, with Binion and Foken. And Hayden Downs, man, the guy that we're going to probably see next half ending, 6'2" outfielder, also a receiver for the football team. A lot of dual sports on this roster as well. A ton of athleticism. We went out and saw a practice early in the spring. I think they were our first team on our preseason tour, and it was just impressive to see what Coach Trent Bianco is doing with this stuff. That ball is touched again for another base hit for Ben Hiller today. That's two for two, double and a single.
Yeah, having himself a nice day.
Another veteran in this lineup. And here comes the second Morneau, Jensen, I believe.
Yep, Jensen Morneau. That was Ben Hill that led things off. Grayson Rosen did not know who Benny Hill is, so he didn't. A little out of his age range.
Yeah. So funny.
Jensen Morneau, 27, plays for Pro Stock, 6th-ranked catcher in Georgia, 59th overall in the class.
A lot of Pro Stock players on the Pope roster. whether in the 27 group or the 25s. Both one knows, obviously, Luke Winbush as well, a guy we're really high on in the 27 class. Honestly, could be one of my favorite players in the class. He's just developed into that type of profile. He doesn't catch anymore. Showed up to preseason All-State, popped a 181 pop time for the best in the weekend. 89 across the infield. It's a really developed profile. Talking to Coach Turco about him, he kind of fits that Carson Kurst role, a guy they had a few years ago, who's now the starting third baseman at Georgia Tech. Really just that same profile, gamer types, go and get it. John Stuetzer fills that as well. Jack Myers, another former guy who's at Georgia Southern now. Just really that Pope player they build there. And they have such a winning culture that it's easy to see why.
Opperman throws over to first. Impressions on Opperman at the plate on the mound. We've seen just 27 pitches out of him so far.
Really,
had to do too much.
Snapping off a really good changeup as well whenever he wants, throwing it to right-handers and left. I think it was sub 1,500 spin, really kills the spin. Fastball is up to 87, 88 early with some life to it. Fills up the zone, creates a lot of weak contact. I think he gave up just 2 barrels, 1 for a hit, or 2 for a hit, and 1 for a loud line out from John Stuetzer off the bat at third. But just really knows how to fill it up. Obviously, Ben Hill got to him a little bit after a couple walks in the first for a couple runs. But other than that, it's been smooth sailing for Opperman.
Morneau at the plate, as we mentioned, be followed by Matt Levinson.
Young Harris. That Young Harris 2025 group is really good here in the state. There's a ton of guys that are going to be able to get to school and play early and really develop together for a really impressive program up there in North Georgia.
I mean, another conversation Hudson and I had last weekend was the way that the state schools in Georgia, as we see the Balk is going to advance the runner, and Opperman's not happy with that call. In Georgia, how guys are staying in state, and you think about obviously, okay. But that's been, I think, a real interesting development. You think about the major schools, but then the smaller ones, guys fall through the cracks. I think you're seeing a lot of guys are getting some interesting opportunities and chances to play very earlier in their careers because they're staying in state.
Absolutely, and you're seeing kids just really be so susceptible to the JUCO route now, even so in that light, because the last few years, JUCO is obviously going to be a great process for a lot of these kids being able to play early, but even more so now with the transfer portal. I think JUCOs became a great route. D3s became a great route, D2 as well, and it just changed. And the kids are kind of rolling with it. I think the first couple months of the new roster rules was a little bit scary for a lot of guys, especially in the 26 group, because things just seemed to change overnight. We had future games and everything was exciting, and then that August 1st date hit, and everybody expected the phones to blow up. And maybe it didn't for some guys, and that's a little scary. But we still have so much time to go, and we have to feel out this process. It's only been 6 months since the rules have changed, so I think it's going to be a feeling out process for the next probably year or so, but just seeing the kids rolling with how it's changed already has been impressive to see.
Well, you mentioned the JUCO route, and interesting conversations with Dash O'Neill at Georgia Highlands, because if what we've sort of seen on the football side, if that filters down into baseball and guys can go to play JUCO and not have that impact how many years they have left at the Division I level, how that could absolutely change everything in terms of JUCO baseball.
Alberto Osuna is somebody who's dealing with that right now. Just been, I think, was a JUCO player, was at Tampa, and now he's transferred to Tennessee and is fighting to get eligible. I believe they have a class action lawsuit right now about it, but trying to get that runner at first there, a couple picks.
Yeah, well, that could be an absolute game changer for these JUCO players.
Oh man, huge. And it could change the landscape of the high school recruiting as well.
Yeah.
It's just. I would say scary time, but it's just a different time. We just have to figure it out. We've navigated the different waters over the years previously, so it's just something else we'll have to get used to, and I think we'll be able to do so.
Morneau fouls that off, so this AB continues. Pitch count now up to 30 for Opperman. You mentioned guys kind of maybe thinking the phone was going to blow up come August 1st, and then maybe it did. Maybe it kind of died off, and they didn't have ultimately the offers that they were expecting. I spent some time with Diego Becerra last weekend during the first weekend at Georgia Dugout Club. I think he's a guy who felt like he didn't prove enough last year, and now big opportunity awaits him playing for Sequoia now, and then he's looking at himself having a huge summer. Oh, it gets past the second baseman.
A little hit and run action there. Perfect execution.
Yeah, perfect execution, and Pope's not going to have him at first and second. But I think that the next 10 months for a guy like Diego Becerra, who maybe didn't have the 25 that he wanted to, even though he ended it at future games, but not maybe having the performance he wanted there or the summer. Man, a big opportunity awaits a guy like that.
Oh, absolutely. And just having that chip on your shoulder coming into the season, knowing you want to prove yourself is huge. And, like, to do so, being uncommitted, having a chance to have all these schools still be looking at you. Like, there are still roster spots available on many of these Power 4 schools, these mid-majors throughout the country. So, like I mentioned before, these 26s still have plenty of time. It's not do or die yet for anybody. So the process will play itself out, and I think we'll see some kids happy with where they find homes at. You know, it's all about finding the fit for you, and not just committing somewhere because it's a big name.
Yeah, and I think there's just kind of this perception that you've waited, and once August 1st hits, here comes the floodgates.
It's my time.
That's
you know?
right.
Yeah, like I've been waiting for all this. Now it's my time to go, and it's just different, you know. And I don't think we even know how different it is yet. We're trying to figure it out. We talk to college coaches seemingly every day about guys, so everybody's still in, everybody's still recruiting. It's just figuring out how we recruit and who we recruit, and the selective with who they're going to choose.
Young Harris signee Matt Levinson fouls that bunt off.
Gets on base here, could bring up John Stuetzer with the bases loaded. I think one down here.
Yeah, still got Maddox, Cory in the on-deck circle, and then it's back to Stuetzer.
I was off by one there. That's right, the lefty.
So Levinson, 6 foot, 189-pound righty, plays for 6'4", 3 DP. Right-handed pitcher and first baseman, again on his way to Young Harris. Show bunt again. Awkward throw back to.
That somehow played up
sure
okay.
Did. So now we're going to give him another balk call. This one's going to stick, though. First was reversed.
Big opportunity here for Pope. Stretch the.
All right, I think we're going to ask for some clarification there because he did throw it. He's saying he threw it back over to the shortstop. All right, this ball call will stick.
And brief conversation. Coach Bianco just wanted a little clarification there.
Sun is shining bright here in Emerson, Georgia, but it is not warm.
It did come out a little bit and it felt okay. It wasn't terrible.
I was asking Avery Hunt whether or not there were, and I looked this up earlier today and couldn't find any information on it, whether there is a temperature in which they will not play baseball in Georgia.
Is there a temperature?
He doesn't think so.
I was wondering, like, we played yesterday. You know, I didn't leave the house.
Yeah.
But I woke up, or I wasn't woke. I was sitting at my table doing work yesterday. I looked up and it was snowing. So I was like, oh, that's neat. You know, like, but yeah, I thought it would be low 30s. But yeah, nobody has told me a temperature. That's for sure.
I know baseball's not a contact sport, but when you get the level of contact that you do get in baseball, whether it be with another player or a ball, and you don't have pads on, it's really going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, and just trying to throw a baseball with full being loose and staying loose between the innings, you know, has to be nearly impossible in the 30-degree weather. Like, I get it with soccer and you're constantly moving or something like that, or lacrosse, but baseball, I think this is about the threshold right here tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight should be the threshold. I think we'll be in the high 30s by the time we finish up tonight's second game. So I think that's about it. The no wind is nice.
Well, just be thankful we don't have an 8 a.m. window during the Saturday games because we literally could be looking at being in the teens.
I know. Everybody's all upset that they have to play at 10 tomorrow. And then we have like 5 really good arms throwing at 10 tomorrow as well, which is right on time for 30-degree weather.
I had this conversation with a few people last weekend. This is such a cool event that we get across these 2 weekends.
Yeah.
We should have this every weekend during the high school season.
For sure. No, absolutely.
Levinson skies this one into center field. It's going to be hauled in for an out, but a runner will tie up and go from third for another run for Pope. Up 4-0 now.
We'll have to wait for Battle for Bartow and probably the first week of April.
Yeah, we'll also get the spring break experience as well, but those won't be very many Georgia teams playing in that.
Couple, yeah. We got Coffee County coming up for 1 week, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Redan will be here as well.
I was talking to Connor Essenberg when we were at Super 60. I know he and Lincoln Way West are really excited to be here again.
Lincoln Way East will be here as well.
Yeah, apparently they're not allowed to play each other, so we got to keep them. We got to keep them on opposite fields. They can just jaw back and forth.
That's okay. I think Citizens might be here as well. It's a good week.
Maddox Cory now at the plate. If he gets on, we will see John Stuetzer.
1 down here, 2 down. Wasn't sure.
Yeah, scoreboard says 1. Yeah, Stuetzer, I know, wasn't really pleased with his 60 time at Super 60. He wanted to run a second time, and they wouldn't let him run again.
But, I mean, looking at that, he also put down the second fastest 30-yard split in Super 60 history.
Wow.
So, like, the 6.5, I think, really is not even as important in that situation as running that 30. John's burst and straight line speed is always going to be there. He's never going to run 60 yards too often. I mean, unless he's running triples, which he's already about 11 seconds from home to third. So, yeah, I mean, he was 4.15 down the line today from the right side on an infield single, which is plus speed. Stole 2 bags, ended up scoring a run. You know, and that's what he's going to do. Like the athleticism, and he's also built like a tank. He has like a similar frame to somebody like Mike Trout. He's 5'11", 198 pounds. You know, and with that kind of athleticism and power, it's pretty impressive to see. And here we go.
All right, here comes Stuetzer with 2 down, runner at second base. Pope leading 4-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Georgia's #1 ranked shortstop in 25, 4th overall in the class. And they will intentionally walk Stuetzer.
This is an opportunity for Luke Wimbush to come through here. A guy who really hits, just talked about him a few minutes ago. Has put himself in the 2-hole already. This was a surefire spot for Tanner Morneau all year last year, and he has developed into that 2-hole hitter for them, known to get on base, takes his walks, doesn't expand very well, and just hits.
Yeah, big for a 27 to be hitting second for Pope.
Honestly, when you have a guy like Tanner Morneau, who's probably has maybe the best bat-to-ball skills in the class, like it's whole field, it's a ton of singles, but he's going to get on base. And having a guy like John Stuetzer on second nearly every time it's a run. You know, like it's 1-0 top of the first almost every night if he gets on base.
Well, so far, Pope flexing his muscle up 4-0.
Back-to-back breakers there. And Bush waiting on it.
Count is 0-2 to Wimbush. 2 down in the inning. Runners at first and second.
4-0 Pope, I believe.
Yep, 4-0.
Bottom 4.
Apparently, since we had some scoreboard issues earlier, they can't retroactively go back and add the scoring, so we had to take it off of our stream.
I did know that. Same with it's so funny. Ooh, good pitch there.
Wimbush goes down on strikes.
They can't take the time off the scoreboard as well, like the 2-hour time.
Oh, yeah.
That's never able to be changed. You know, like even in the summer when we have shortened games, that's never changed. So it always confuses everybody. You know, so I don't know why we can't do that, but it's always been a thing.
Well, Pope's got a 4-0 lead. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll return from the Georgia Dugout Club.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Welcome back to the Georgia Dugout Club tournament, where Pope leads 4-0 over Carrollton, and going to get Nick Bobrowski back on the mound. You had mentioned the breaking ball is just spinning off this kid's hand.
Yeah, he was throwing frisbees earlier. I think it was 2,900 to 3,000 every time. Like it's a low velo at 69.71, but it just gets guys out front. He got Landon Eubanks with 2 of the really ugly swings earlier in that bat that were just great swords. Can get guys out front pretty easily, and really knows how to fill it up. He's developed into the one as a low 80s lefty. You know, like he fills it up, does not give up hard contact, strikes guys out. It's a good operation for Bobrowski. Pitched in the state championship last year as well.
So we were talking about this earlier. Last year, I think the defining piece between Etowah and Pope when they met for the state championship was the level of pitching that Etowah had that Pope couldn't match.
Yeah.
Is that, in your mind, still what's going to be the determining factor of how far Pope can go this year?
I believe so. I mean, Ethan Garrett has a chance to really develop. Obviously, Boborowski here at the top can pitch as well as anybody in region and be a high school guy, be a high school arm that gets guys out. But yeah, I think there's a chance for that. They're going to need the bullpen to really step up. Matt Levinson will be huge for them out of the pen this year. Big innings from them. But I mean, the 1-2 for Etowah is as good as it gets in the state. Again, they are really unproven in the bullpen as well. We'll need Luke Winbush making a good play there. Will need to prove themselves in the pen. Like seemingly everybody in the state this year, there's nobody really with a rock solid bullpen, which is surprising for a lot of teams. Caleb Hudson up here to bat, another one of our top 2027 bats in the class. Recently jumped into the top 10. Had one of the best all-around days I've seen in a while at preseason All-State. Did everything.
That was Gunnar Foken that grounded out, and you mentioned Caleb Hudson now at the plate. A guy that you think about 2023, 2022 junior feature game. I would almost anticipate he's going to be suiting up for Georgia at this summer's feature games.
I would believe so as well, yeah. He is on the short list for sure. 94 from the outfield, 89 on the mound, 375 on the 30. You're going to beat this out right here.
Unfortunately, our cameras did not adjust to see that, but I believe Caleb Hudson is standing at first base, grounding out that trucking down the line, beating out that bunt.
It's pure speed. He's only going to get faster. I think he's a 6'5", 6'4", type of 60 when he gets to his peak. I think he ran really fast at junior future games before. I think he's even faster now. We have a debate here.
This is Dylan Bishop.
Soon to be QB1 at Carrollton. Backed up Juju Lewis this year. Has a chance to be QB1 on one of the powerhouses in the state for football. It's one of the craziest indoor facilities I've ever seen. It's massive. Like you don't. It's like right behind the baseball field, and it's just this giant 100-yard indoor facility out of nowhere. Like I think they had 5 or 6 5-stars over the last 2 years, which is silly.
Well, speaking of indoor facilities, drove past Lowndes yesterday on the way back from Florida, and that's I mean there are small colleges that can't match what Lowndes has.
It's a cool campus for sure. They really do it well there. Like I mentioned, we were talking about Etowah. They were down there. I talked to a lot of their parents and coaches, and they had a really good experience playing down there at Lowndes, getting down to South Georgia. The fans packed that place out. It's a great environment for a game, whether it's opening weekend or the playoffs. They fill it up, and it's really cool. Just the South Georgia spirit. It's an enjoyable place to watch baseball and play baseball, honestly.
So you guys have a freelancer now doing games for you guys
he's
down in South
there.
Georgia.
I'll be down there actually as well for about a week. In March. I'm going to spend a week in Florida for a tournament, and then I'm going to do South Georgia on the way back. So I'm going to try to hit every school we have down there, looking Hoco and Perry and Lowndes, Tift, Thomas County Central, a lot of these teams that are littering our top 25 that just are going to beat up on each other down there in South Georgia. Glenn Academy, another one. A good pitch.
Browski gets a strike in the outside corner.
He knows how to fill it up. I think he's going on his 60 pitches now, I believe.
Yeah, up to 50, next will be his 53rd.
Okay.
It's got a 1-2 count here to Bishop. 1 out.
Ooh.
Puts that one in play. It's going down the right side. Right fielder has it, and runner will retreat to first.
Good swing there. Keeping the barrel on the breaking ball, shooting it the other way, taking what he's getting.
Here comes Lane Bell now with 2 outs.
One of the few seniors in this lineup. I think just 2 with him and Monsour. Oh, Eubanks as well, excuse me. Everybody just looks so bundled up right there.
Yeah, I was talking to the Pope guys about whether or not they had team-issued shiesties, because seemingly everybody was wearing one.
I was at North Paulding the other day, and they had team-issued shiesties.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
And they were selling them at the concession.
Well, this is exactly what I was saying, is that we should really, this time of the year, we should really have them with the Prep Baseball logo across the front of them, because I think we're missing out there. Runner taken off for second. The throw is not going to be in time as it skips past Stuetzer into center field.
Outside of that play, Abney looked really good behind the plate today. Made a really good play on a bunt earlier to throw a guy out second. Really heads-up play. Coming off basketball season, so in some of the best shape we've seen him in recently. and has a chance to develop another uncommitted 2026 in his class. If he shows the catching chops this year with the raw power he has a chance to find a really good home as well.
0-2's the count to Bell. Missing the outside.
Yeah, the confidence of that breaking ball whenever he wants. That was a bad one, but he has a chance to bury it here, get the swing and miss. He tries to go back foot. I would imagine here the slider go back to back. Oh, good.
Throw back to Stuetzer.
It's a tough guy.
Run him down.
Tough guy to pick off second there with Hudson. Some of the best quickness first step you're going to find.
Just a couple athletes standing out there with Hudson and Stuetzer.
Truly. A couple of big-time football players as well.
Yeah, I'll be interested, talk to Stuetzer how much he loves playing football, and that was part of the recruiting process as he goes down on strikes that he talked to Florida State about, and he said they were really supportive of him wanting to play football. But how much is he going to miss playing football?
I know,
when he's at Tallahassee?
and this year it's crazy. They had him out there running Wildcat quarterback for 7 games, and I would go through Max Preps and look at stats for him, and I think he had like 700 yards and 10 touchdowns receiving through like 4 games, and then just stopped, and then all these rushing yards blew up, and I was like, oh my goodness, they moved him to running back? I'm like talking to him on the flight home from Super 60. I was like, dude, what happened? He's like, they were just triple teaming me, so they just moved me to Wildcat, and I just ran the option every day.
197 yards in his final high school game.
I was like, he's a gamer for sure. He's pretty uncoverable in the slot. Has a great route running. Obviously, the speed's there, can bounce. It's a good profile in the slot. But yes, I think he's going to miss it.
Yep. All right, we're going to take
that question.
Yeah, we're going to take a very quick break. We'll be back with more. Pope is up 4-0 over Carrollton here at the Georgia Dugout Club tournament.
Where's it written? Only grill burgers? Nowhere. That's where. Now throw on some sausage and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, I'm the man in command, come flow with the sounds of the mighty mic.
One of the huge winners last week.
All right, we're back here at Lakepoint Sports, Carrollton and Pope up 4-0. We were just talking about Terrence Bowen and his exploits last week for Blessed Trinity, and had him in here in studio the next day after he hit 107.9 exit velo in that game against Walton. I've been here for a while. You just got here full time last year, but you had been at Lakepoint Sports many times. I don't know that I have ever seen anybody hit the ball that hard.
I have not seen a ball hit that hard since BP at Area Code Games 3 years ago. It was the hardest hit ball. I mean, the hardest hit ball I had seen here prior to that was 106.2, I believe, and it was foul. So this was a 107.9. The left fielder, I think, was playing nearly on the track, and it burned him. It was wild to see. The swings he took all weekend was really impressive. He hit 5 or 6 balls, 92 plus. Adjusted to the breaking ball, swung and missed on the breaking ball early in the week, and then really adjusted and got his front foot down. I think it was the last game against North Cobb Christian, and barreled 2 balls to the pull side on breaking balls. That was like impressive to see, and I think really stand out a long way when pro scouts are watching some of these at bats early in the season and just showing the development and the adjustments in play.
The thing I wonder about with Blessed Trinity is whether or not they live up to the hype.
Yeah,
because he obviously comes in Bowen and adds to that lineup where they've just got so many guys with the Zagger and twins and Wesley Bass and Cade Kiss and just on and on and on. Gavin Green stepping in. I mean, the expectations are sky high.
Yeah, and I think it was so crazy last week. I was able to sit in on all 3 games because I won't see them a ton this spring, but I wanted to get a good eye as being the number 2 team in our 25. But the only person in the whole lineup last week who didn't see pitching was Caden Dawson. That's a sophomore.
Well, that's another player I even left out.
That's what I'm saying. That's a sophomore, And then they added a kid from Michigan who was the number 2 player in Michigan's 2027 class last year. Aiden Pack, who was the number 2 pitcher on Brother Rice, who was probably the best high school in Chicago last year as a freshman. So adding that 89 and 92 into the rotation, Joseph Contreras looked electric last week, and they have a senior in Cam Novak who just has elite pitchability and is going to lead them on the mound. And I think they have a chance to live up to the expectations. They have some depth in the bullpen. Like I mentioned earlier, teams don't have that. They have a ton of guys, and they have a huge 27 group that just might not even get a chance to play, but can jump in and contribute at any time. So I think they do, especially moving to 4A, I think they have a chance to fill these expectations. Obviously, losing the first game of the season, everybody gets a little crazy, you know. They felt a little crazy. They wanted to make a statement in that first game, and they didn't. Obviously, Walton played a perfect baseball game, I think, that night. The small ball, the bat-to-ball, the taking great pitches was awesome to see. But, yeah, I believe Blessed Trinity has a chance to fill those expectations this year, just with the bats. Like, you can't get a guy out. It reminds me a lot of Stars Mill last year.
Yeah.
Stars Mill didn't have the pitching really, but the 1 through 9 could out-hit anybody in the state and end up winning a state championship in 4A. So I think Blessed Trinity fills that profile really well, and I think they have a chance to make a similar type run this year if everything goes to plan.
Saw Tanner Morneau ground out. Here comes Drew Abney. I think the thing with Blessed Trinity and Etowah is, yeah, you want to get the job done in the state of Georgia, but when you start thinking about national champions,
oh yeah,
I mean, these are two teams who are very much in that mix. You think about Corona, think about Barb down in Louisiana,
Trinity Christian in Florida, really. I mean, South Walton as well. These are really good teams, but I mean, I talk about Etowah a lot. I wish I didn't, but they're just too good of a team to not talk about them, you know.
Yeah.
And like this year, high expectations, number 1 in the state, top 5 in the country, might be their worst year, talent-wise, over the next 2. Like they have 1 everyday senior on this team, you know. Like,
yeah.
They have 3 underclassmen in the infield. They have 3 juniors in the outfield. The best player in maybe the state is a junior on the mound, Matthew Sharman as well, who's had one of the most ridiculous starts to the season I've ever seen. He's been up to the plate this year 18 times. He has gotten out twice.
Wow. 12
hits, 4 walks. And you also add in 20-1 K to walk on the mound in 8 innings with a 0 ERA.
I think Colin Anderson stepping in.
Colin Anderson looks like Brady House, if I can say it.
Okay.
Say it. Like, I mean, it's pretty silly. I never had seen it. I've only had heard about it. He showed up the preseason All-State in January, hit 3 balls over 102, wasn't even 15 years old yet, has already won the everyday shortstop job for Etowah as a freshman.
That's incredible.
It's silly power. He gets to it. The swing decisions are improving quickly. The defense is good. He's got a plus arm. He's athletic, 6'1", 180. You know, like everything's there. It's the first time, maybe one of the first times that I was at a game and I had pro scouts texting me asking for an underclass video. You know, like they usually text me for guys all the time, but never for underclass guys because they don't care. You know, like it's not their job yet to really worry about these guys, especially freshmen. But it's just that different. Yeah, it's just special to see. I mean, talking about the freshman group in this state is different. We had a guy start today for Buford on the mound, Dexter McLeon.
Yep.
Obviously, he was a starting pitcher on the mound today for them against a really good team in Marist. And that's a weekend of the year, and he's already starting. So, obviously, Gavin Green, like we mentioned, Easton Holmes, like I talked about when I first came on, like the 28 group is got a chance to be extremely special.
Carson Heath, the new pitcher for Carrollton, is Caden Opperman's going to exit. Yeah, my son, freshman at Etowah, it sits at the same lunch table as Colin Anderson. He came home one of the first day of school, and he said, "There's this new kid that just came in. Apparently, says he's going to be one of the top players in the state in 2028." It's like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah, and it was crazy. The scrimmage I went to start the year, he went down 0-2 in his first ever high school at bat. First swing of the at bat was one of the worst swings I've seen ever. You know, just no effort, just out in front. Breaking ball got him, but he reset. Second pitch, fouled it off. Was frustrated he fouled it off. 0-2, saw a curveball and hit it over the scoreboard. I was just like, well, I guess that's what we're doing tonight.
And I believe he and Trevor Condon went back-to-back homers in that.
Yeah. It was an impressive day. Trevor looks as good as it gets right now to start the year. He's hitting everything. He's added about 10 or 15 pounds of muscle. He's about 185 pounds now, which is crazy. Just an athlete. Has a chance to really develop into one of the top players in his class. I mean, he's starting the year great. I'm going to go down on Monday and see our number 1 in the class, Keon Johnson. Take the trip down there to Macon.
Sometimes it feels like we're at spring. We're like in this bubble, like it's almost like spring training out in Arizona when you're just kind of going around, Goodyear area, and you got all these teams around there. It almost feels like that because it's just star after star after star after star here in Metro Atlanta, and then obviously you step down to Macon and down to the South Georgia. It's
it's the whole state.
Talent.
I mean, the state is just impressive. Like I mentioned, I've talked about on the stream before. Like leaving Florida, the level of talent in Florida is so immense. You'd think it would drop off when you leave, and it hasn't at all. Like the talent has just stayed true from every day. I mean, obviously we see out-of-state teams here at LakePoint, but the Georgia talent just is incredible at every sport. Like I never realized how talented some of these schools were in every sport. Like a team like Grayson made it to state in baseball last year. I think they won state in football. Their basketball team made it to the state championship as well. And it's like that's not a team you really think about very often, but the talent is just everywhere.
Matt Stridham, the young Harris signee, back at the plate. Pope up 4-0 here in the fifth.
Pope having a good start to the year as well, getting some big early wins.
I know a frustrating ending for them last year, losing to Etowah.
2 years in a row losing in the state championship. I know this senior group has a chip on their shoulder. Obviously, 8 straight years making it to the Final Four for Pope. The culture is winning there. Chris Turco has this group as close-knit as you can find. So I think they have a chance to make another run. They want to compete. They're as gritty as you're going to find in the state as a team. Like they know how to get things done. They're going to run, play small ball. So I think that chip's going to push them, especially these guys like John Stuetzer and Ethan Garrett, Matt Strider.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they get another shot at Etowah, if it can break their way.
Yeah.
Because again, you go back to that matchup last year, and they just couldn't match Etowah's pitching.
No. And it was deep, too. And Etowah got so hot at the right time. Matthew Sharman with the most ridiculous playoff run last year. I think it was like 40-something Ks to 0 walks and 4 starts. Big at-bat here.
Yeah, 2-2 is the count here to Stridham. And Carson Heath on the mound taking over for Carrollton. Well, it skips away from the catcher. Count's now going to be full. Pope looking to just blow this one open, get themselves a big win over the 18th ranked team in Pro Baseball Georgia's Power 25. Some big matchups tomorrow as well. I mentioned we're going to have a watch party. Runners taking off for second, got him in the rundown, able to go as good. Did not get him, got away from the tag.
What a slide. I truly don't know how he beat that there.
Have another conversation out here. I almost made it through. I was sick. I had the flu 2 weeks ago. Last weekend, every once in a while, you get these little coughing fits. I came back from Super 60. We were all there in Chicago.
Yeah, I did hear you were dying coming back.
I came back on that Monday, was good to go. Tuesday just hit me, and I was pretty much dead until the following weekend. So.
It was like Andy Sirocco was like that leading up to Super 60. He had like the worst flu he's ever had in his life.
Well, same here, and I spent time with Andy Sirocco talking about some stuff on Sunday when we were at the Max during the showcase part of things, and I, in hindsight, was like, maybe I shouldn't have spent any time around Andy. So
probably not.
Yeah, I could say it was one of the 50-plus kids that we had with Shooter and I at the desk at Dick's Sporting Goods, but it was probably talking to Andy.
Yeah, he might have been patient zero. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
he was down and out for about 2 weeks.
I didn't send him a note telling him I got sick. I didn't want him to feel bad. So
I'm gonna give him crap after.
There you go.
Don't you worry. I'm blaming him for sure.
Ben Hill at the plate again.
Trying to go 3 for 3 on a day. A big hit here would extend the lead even more for Pope as we head in the late innings here.
Now, tomorrow, we will have our watch party starting at 3 o'clock. We'll have Wayne County and Loganville, Franklin County and Pope, and Mountain View and Harrison. I'm excited to see Harrison. I was talking to Dom Stevenson before the games today, and, man, you think about how star-studded that Harrison squad is. And it's just – I was honestly – I mean, not asking you to say who made it or didn't make it, but I was somewhat surprised when you think about the Power 25, Harrison's standing.
Harrison's was on the bubble. They had a really unfortunate injury coming into the year, losing their ace. Colin White out for the year.
Did not realize that.
Was a tough. That's what I've been told. Was a tough loss for them. It's not pitching, so not having that one at Georgia Tech commit with some of the best stuff from the left side in the 26 class really made it tough. And then we haven't seen Jack Johnson as well on that squad at 2027, who's in the top 10. Made the transfer from Mount Perham, was supposed to be a big piece for them. And we haven't seen him early in the year. I'm not sure what's happening with that, whether it's an injury or not. But those are two of the factors that kept Harrison from making the top 25. But they're a team that really overachieved last year. 2 years ago, I think they won 9 games. So to have a year like they did last year, make the playoffs, make a little bit of a run, and then to bring back the pieces they have this year. Dom is off to a great start. Had a big, I think it was a go-ahead grand slam in their opener against Cherokee in the 7th. So that's been huge for them. And I think they have a chance. Another tough region for them this year, but they have a chance to compete.
Another rundown. This time they got him for sure.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay, this time the tag is applied. But, yeah, I saw Colin White walking in with the team and did not realize he was out. And see him on the mound. So, all right, Ian Smith going to let you get back to it, man. We'll see you tomorrow during the watch party. We'll be back with more from LakePoint Sports.
Awesome.
Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, now Grayson Rosen rejoins us in studio. Pope is up 4-0 over Carrollton as we're marching along in this marquee game for us here in the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament second weekend. Maddox Monsour, the Texas signee, at the plate. New pitcher on the mound for Pope. We're going to get a look at Hudson DeLine. Pope has looked awfully dominant so far. They got really strong start there from Nick Bobrowski on the mound. He went 5 innings with 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal. Just had a great handle on his stuff and done a great job just avoiding any kind of run threat, really, from Carrollton in this game.
DeLine delivers.
If anybody that's watching this joined us last Friday, this game definitely feels like it's moving a lot faster.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to jinx anything, though, because we had a 9-inning affair between Blessed Trinity and Walton last week that we thought looked like it was going to be over. Blessed Trinity led 4-0 in that one, or 5-1. 5-1 in that one, yeah.
That ball out in foul territory was caught for the out.
The cameras, unfortunately, did not adjust. Maddox Monsour with the pop out.
Got some score updates from around the park here. We got Brookwood and Loganville is 2-5 right now, bottom of the 5th. Harrison up 5-0 over East Paulding over on field 11. And you've got North Springs and Kell's up 5-2 on field 12. You got North Forsyth up 8-0 heading into the top of the 6th with Campbell. And then Sprayberry and McEachern is 9-4 Sprayberry. Altoona up 11-2 over Paulding County. And then Cambridge up 8-4 over Osborne.
We had a number of blowouts last weekend. It's like got some games headed that exact way. Altoona steamrolling Paulding County at the moment.
Yeah, Altoona is off to a hot start this season.
Well, this is their tournament. They are technically the GHSA host. Lady Eubanks watches that run the count to 1-2.
And these two teams competing in a strong group with a fantastic pitch.
Yeah, DeLine
right
gets
there.
him down on strikes. So Monsour pops out. Eubanks on the strikeout, and here comes Caleb Binion.
Yeah, these two teams part of a very strong group that also includes the likes of Franklin County, and then who's our fourth? Grayson High School as well. So very strong. You've got the 7A runner-ups from last season in Grayson. You have 6A runner-ups in Pope, and then two more teams that made the state tournament.
And then just stars everywhere. I mean, we're going to see tomorrow the Pope again, and we'll get look at Ty Peoples, the #1 player in Georgia in 2025, two-time Prep Baseball All-American.
Yeah, likely one of the top outfielders in really just in high school baseball. It's going to be coming out in the draft this season.
Yeah, I anticipate we are going to hear his name pretty early in the MLB draft. Ty Peoples, a special player and a guy that certainly has handled the spotlight really, really well. As that's down the right side, is going to get past the charging second baseman. So we've got a 2-out single for Binion to get Carrollton going here in the top of the 6th inning, trailing 4-0, excuse me.
Yeah, Carrollton can definitely use kind of all they can get right now. They catch a break right there, getting that one past the outstretched arm of the second baseman, but still a lot more that you need to do here if you're Carrollton to start trying to chip away at this lead that Pope's built.
Evan Moody and his 97-1 exit velo. Going to see if he can move the chain along for Carrollton. To line ball 1. Been a dominant game so far for Pope. 4 hits apiece, but Pope leads 4-0. The big blow so far has been Matt Stridham, who came through with an RBI double.
Definitely the pivotal moment that we've had up to this point.
Well, that a lot of because of the arm of Nick Bobrowski, who held Carrollton in check through 5 innings before handing things over to DeLine.
And we talked about when I was here in the first inning that the big thing for Pope really throughout the rest of this season is just who's going to step up pitching-wise, because like you mentioned, we saw that pitching was kind of their downfall in that 6A championship series against Etowah, and now we're trying to see who can step up, and Bobrowski with quite a start to certainly make you think that Pope's got some great arms to rest on here. And you also, a guy like Ethan Garrett, Georgia Southern commit, right-handed pitcher, fantastic player that Pope's got as well in that rotation. So those two at the top, at least I'm assuming, is a huge asset for them going forward.
2 down in the inning, runner at second base. Hayden Downs now at the plate. Carrollton just looking for a breakthrough, trailing 4-0 here in the 6th. DeLine glancing back at the runner. That one's in play. Stuetzer's got it. Long throw to first, but just going to skip in front of the bag.
The first baseman kind of misplayed that one there, and you saw at third base, he rounded just to see, but nobody advances on that part.
All right, avoids trouble, and there's going to be runners at the corners now.
Bases loaded. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, bases are going to be loaded for Gunnar Falcon, the first baseman. They're wearing camo, so that's in my defense.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yep, it's like John Cena out there. I did not see him at second base.
I must say I haven't seen a lot of digital camo in like probably the last 5 years. I think that's a style that most would say is outdated. Maybe Carrollton.
Looking to bring it back.
Yeah.
It's in for a strike. I remember Cedartown came here a couple times for GDC tournaments wearing digital camo.
Fashion's all cyclical. So
That's right.
Maybe digital camo's coming back.
Bases are loaded, 2 outs. Fokin puts that in play, first baseman. Oh, can't field it, gets past his glove. Here comes 1 run for Carrollton. Throw is going to be bouncing in front of the plate as another run scores for Carrollton. They have cut the lead in half, 4-2, and Grayson Rosen absolutely jinxed it.
Yep, as I do every time in these games. I bring up one thing that's happening and either the opposite or whatever is potentially the worst outcome. I think this time the best outcome. We're getting a better game here now as Carrollton inches closer to bringing this even.
And they have the right guy at the right time at the plate now with runners at the corners, with Caleb Hudson stepping to the plate, the second-ranked outfielder in Georgia in 27, 10th overall in the class. Finds himself 34th nationally in his position, 142 overall.
Yeah, I mean, these couple of 2027s, like we talked about early in this broadcast, is a young group. You look at these last 3 guys that have come, or sorry, the last 2, and now the guy who's coming to the plate now with Downs and Fokin, and you'll have Caleb Hudson as well. All 3 2027s all in a row making an impact in this game.
Hudson DeLine took over in relief for Nick Bobrowski after 5 scoreless innings. Managed to get through to DeLine so far. Going to go out and have a conversation, see if they can just get that final out and get out of this inning with a 4-2 lead. But a tough matchup for him in the form of Hudson, who's got exit velos around 93, bat speed is 72.2, also runs a 6.5 60. Preseason All-State 2025, last 2, or excuse me, 2023 and 2022 future games, junior future games. Sometimes you forget, like, it's 25, not 24, so that's not last year. That's 2 years ago, technically. But Hudson going to try to add to the good vibes for Carrollton in this inning as they've cut the Pope lead in half. It's 4-2. Miss inside from DeLine. Runners at the corners. Oh, man, absolute rocket off the bat of Hudson. That's going to score 1 run, and he is going to hold at first base, and we've got a 4-3 game now here in the 6th.
This has been fantastic by Carrollton. I mean, the big thing is that last play right there before Hudson, that ball getting past the first baseman and extending this inning, scoring 2 runs. This is definitely changing the tide here after the pitching change for Pope.
So Caleb Hudson wastes no time, and here is shortstop Dylan Bishop with what is now a 1-run game. Bishop watches strike 1. Just like a week ago with Blessed Trinity and Walton, things are getting exciting late. We had a 5-1 game that went 9 innings there. We would like to avoid extra innings in this one, but see if we can have another spectacular finish as a 4-0 lead for Pope has now become a 4-3 lead here in the top of the 6th.
And we've talked about this a lot, but I mean, when you have a team full of talented players, no matter what age or what level, you have the chance at all times to just storm forth and put up some runs. And there's a hit up the middle right there. Stuetzer
Stuetzer
really
throws
well.
it, man, on the run, gets it out of absolute athleticism. That was dynamite play from John Stuetzer to get out of the inning, but it's a 4-3 game as Pope is up by 1. We'll be back for the bottom of the 6th inning from LakePoint Sports.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes. Block nobody. Block party. Keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the
We have got a ball game on our hands now. Pope leading 4-3 as we sit in the bottom of the 6th inning in this matchup from the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. Second weekend of action here. These 2-day events. We got more action coming for you tomorrow. Cory McCartney joined by Grayson, Rosen, and then things got awfully exciting there that last inning. We saw Gunnar Falken come through and get 2 runs across the board, and then it was Caleb Hudson with another RBI single, and man, things have just all of a sudden turned on their head.
Yeah, big moves from the 2027s in this Carrollton squad. They got a lot of sophomores on this roster, and those two stepping up big, as well as Hayden Downs getting himself in there as well. And it looks like Gunnar Falken's actually taking over.
Yeah, Gunnar Falken now on the mound. So he comes up big at the plate, and now he's going to step on the mound for Carrollton.
Looking for a hold here late in this game, down 1.
Yeah, they went from Caden Opperman, who got the start, and then it was Carson Heath coming in relief, and now Gunnar Falken going to try to shut down Pope and give his offense a chance to try to rally in the 7th and get themselves a victory. Ben Hill will start things off here for Pope. He's going to be followed by Jensen Morneau and then Matt Levinson.
And Hill hit that double in that first inning that really broke things open. So looking to see if he can get things started here for the Greyhounds.
Falken fastball up around 85, changeup 75, curveball as he just misses inside and he lost a glance out of the way. Curveball around 69 to 74. He's also got a slider at 66. He was 2025 preseason All-State. Skies that one back. He's got the catcher on the run, but that's well out of play. Falken is primarily a catcher as the 8th ranked catcher in Georgia, 66 overall, pop times to 192. Seen him on the mound now. I've already seen him come through at the plate, deliver 2 RBI.
It looks like Ian's behind the plate now, taking video of Falken up there on the mound. Right there, right above the catcher. He put his hoodie on.
Ian Smith undercover. Drop third, throw over to first. We'll get the runner, and now 1 down. Jensen Morneau's turn.
I like what I'm seeing right now from Falken up there on the mound. Pleasantly surprised. Not really expecting to see him take the mound here in this game, but see what he can keep doing here to hold off the Greyhounds.
An athletic mover, as the scouts would say. And this is in ball 1 to Morneau. Miss high. Yeah, we apologize for our scoreboards not operating during this game. We had a little bit of a hang up during the first inning, and it kind of derailed our scoreboard technology. So if you were actually getting the real scoreboard, right now it would say 3-1, but we know that Pope is actually leading 4-3. So to avoid the confusion, we just decided to go sans scoreboard for this matchup. Ooh, had to get out of the way of that one.
Second time.
A big moment for Pope. Ball gets away from the runner, the catcher, and the runner will take off for second. Rounds the bag. Another massive weekend, as they seemingly all are here at LakePoint Sports. Got a rally on and a rally on the East Coast volleyball Saturday and Sunday. That's a boys event Saturday and Sunday, and girls only on Saturday.
Yeah, and then I believe we have beach volleyball standalone on Sunday.
We'll see, man. That weather, I don't know if you could.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, they're going to make these baseball players look weak when they're out there playing volleyball in that weather.
Does get caught.
Oh, it did get caught on foul territory, as you mentioned. Yeah, so now 2 down. Maddox, Cory, John Stuetzer in the on-deck circle.
And I mean, Pope finding themselves in a position where they honestly need a run. If you're looking at the momentum that Carrollton's going to have offensively and the fact that they batted almost all the way through the order, you know, second batter up is going to be Maddox Monsour for Carrollton when they flip over this inning. This is a big spot for Pope to potentially try and get some insurance runs here with just a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, they moved Gunnar Falken from first base to the mound. It's in for a strike. Cory, 1 for 4 on the day. He's got an 0-1 count.
Great pitch right there.
Yeah, make it 0-2 now.
Falken to get that second strike. See what Cory's got now in his approach with 2 strikes on him.
And a half-hearted swing as he goes down on strikes. Falken gets the K to end the inning and strand a runner. Pope leads 4-3. We'll be back with the top of the 7th from LakePoint Sports.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with a small sample size is what we're looking for.
Curve Test Centers is offering free performance tests this weekend here at LakePoint Sports. Test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble here on campus or sign up now at curvetestcenters.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. We return to our action where Pope leads 4-3, as we said, in the top of the 7th inning. Carrollton, some magic in their last at-bat, able to make this a 1-run game as they got a couple runs scored off the bat of Gunnar Falken, and then Caleb Hudson comes through with an RBI single to make this a 1-run affair. We'll see what they can get going here. So we will see the bottom of their order, and then Maddox Monsour, the Texas signee, looms here in the 7th.
Yeah, we got a pitching change for Pope. Matt Levinson taking over on the mound, right-handed pitcher, committed to Young Harris signee, 2025. So he'll make way after DeLine had a bit of a shaky inning there, letting Carrollton get back in this ball game, and now Carrollton trying to finish the job that they started in the 6th.
Catcher Lane Bell will start things off. We've got Levinson with a fastball up around 89, changeup 76 to 78, curveball around 76 to 78. 6 foot, 189 pounder. Man, absolute rocket off the bat of Bell goes foul. Bell 0 for 2. Carrollton has out-hit Pope 7-4, but they trail 4-3 on the scoreboard. After Bell, it will be Monsour on the top of the order. So Carrollton has the right guys at the right time. We'll see if they can continue to add to their good vibes. First pitch, the second pitch is headed in the center fielder. Not going to be able to make a play. Left fielder watches that one go into his glove for the first out. What a great catch in left field. That was Ben Hill. Ben Hill having himself quite the day as he's got an RBI double and then a great catch in left field.
Yeah, at first it looked like it might have dropped down in between the two, but a great sliding effort there to make the catch.
So with one down, that will bring up Texas signee Maddox Monsour.
That's a big change of pace here. You needed that very important first out in this inning.
Yep.
And now Carrollton obviously wishing they had gotten that runner on, but now they'll get one. Oh, are they going to say that he reached out? Yep, they're saying he lifted up the arm.
So Monsour got hit on the elbow, but instead they will say that he stuck his arm out. So now 2 down.
It was real close. I think.
No, he will continue the AB.
Yeah, it seems like it was. You could maybe attribute it to kind of a load up is why the elbow comes up, but that was a close call. But I don't blame the umpire necessarily for at least how it looked in the moment.
All right, so there would be an 0-1 count with 1 down. Second pitch, an absolute rocket off his glove, goes to Stuetzer for the second out.
And that one caught by Stuetzer, not even a play to make it first. So catches it on the line, and now Carrollton down 2 in their last chance here in the top of the 7th.
That'll be Landon Eubanks. Eubanks 0 for 3.
And that's a huge call there at the plate by the umpire to not give Maddox Monsour that base now. Now 2 outs and their last legs here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, 2 moments that just did not go Carrollton's way, as we saw a great catch from Ben Hill in left field, and then seemingly Monsour making his way down off the hit by pitch, but that AB continues and he ends up lining out to Stuetzer.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder if Monsour, it seemed like it hit him pretty square on the elbow. Maybe he doesn't even pick up the arm. It still clips his elbow guard, but we'll never know now.
Count is 2-0 to Eubanks. That's in for a strike. Eubanks, the Bruton Parker signee. Has a 2-1 count with 2 down. Pope trying to close out a 4-3 win as that one goes foul. Count is now 2-2 with 2 down. Carrollton down to their last strike.
See if Levinson's got something here for the strikeout.
Ooh, ropes that one foul down the left side.
Good defensive swing right there by Landon Eubanks.
If Eubanks gets on, we'll see Caleb Binion.
So maybe ball in the field. Some kind of delay out there in left field.
Another 2-2. Levinson fires. Misses inside to run the count full.
That was real close. I think that was a fantastic pitch by Levinson. Even got him to step out of the box, but doesn't get the called strike there, and now we'll see the full count.
Landon Eubanks been down to his last strike for the last 4 pitches.
Time called. Very late call. Lucky to get the umpire's call there, but stays alive for another second and makes Levinson throw another pitch.
All right, comes the payoff pitch from Levinson. Swing, miss, game over. Pope closes it out as Levinson slams the door on Eubanks. They win 4-3, but not without some drama near the end as Carrollton managed to make this a tight one, but Pope able to close it out and get themselves a 4-3 victory here in the Georgia Dugout Club tournament.
Yeah, that was great work by Pope. Obviously, the starting pitching was a huge asset there in starting off this game. We saw how good Carrollton was bouncing back offensively after the pitching change, and you just got to give so much credit to Nick Bobrowski on the mound for Pope, and then, of course, their lineup. Getting on it early. You score those first 2 runs on the 2 sac flies, and you let guys get on base. Stuetzer with the infield single. Winbush gets the walk. They advance on a pass ball. You get those 2 sac flies, and all of a sudden, everything swings the way of Pope early in this game, and then they held on to it. It got shaky there at the end, but I mean, you definitely can't knock that victory.
Yeah, hats off to Carrollton for fighting back the way they did. Gunnar Falken gets 2 RBI. Caleb Hudson with an RBI single as well to cut it to 1 run. But we saw at the end there a couple things just didn't break Carrollton's way there in the top of the 7th. Pope able to capitalize, and they closed this out with a victory.
Yeah, it was fantastic work.
All right, let's talk player of the game, and I think you got to go with Nick Bobrowski. He ends up going 5 innings pitched, a starter for Pope, allows 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, most importantly, no runs as he put his team in a position to win this game.
Yeah, I think the biggest things, like you said, he didn't allow any runs, and of course, that 1 walk. I think that's a huge part of this as well because he didn't really get the glamour numbers. He didn't have a high strikeout total necessarily, getting 1 strikeout per innings pitched. But it's that 1 walk. He's not giving anything up for free. He's only giving up a couple hits in this outing, and that's the biggest part of it. He just didn't let Carrollton catch any momentum in his start.
And Ian Smith, who was in here earlier, really impressed with Bobrowski's breaking ball, ripping off 3,000 RPM Frisbees as Ian Smith was putting it. So a really strong performance from a guy who has positioned himself as a #1 pitcher for a team that has state title aspirations here in Georgia.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And Bobrowski looks great to start the year.
So a 4-3 win for Pope over Carrollton, and we'll be back with more action Saturdays. We'll have a watch party for you as things continue with the last day of these 2 weeks of the Georgia Dugout Club tournament. We'll be back with 3 p.m. With Brookwood, Loganville, Franklin County, Pope, and Mountain View versus Harrison. So make sure you join us for that one. Should be a lot of fun. That'll be available on Facebook, X, and YouTube. So make sure you join us for that one. And make sure you follow LakePoint Sports on all of our social media channels. You'll get so much of the great content that we have coming out across campus. So until next time, for Grayson, Rosen, and producer Maddie Bullock, I'm Cory McCartney, and we're signing off from LakePoint Sports.